All of these are single points of failures that if you lose that person, your company will suffer.
Hi, my name's Devon. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way. I only know the hard way.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. I'm Devon Dickinson, and today I want to talk to you about not having a single point of failure within your company. And as I said this, probably a lot of you got chills down your spine because you already know what I'm talking about. You have within your company a key employee that you can't lose. And if you lost that person, your company, you don't know what you do without them, right? Like, who would replace that person? And I'm going to challenge you, if you're one of those people right now that is thinking about that, and I just gave you chills, do not flip to the next podcast. Okay. Let's use this podcast. Yes. Let's use today as a time that we deal with and work through how to not have a single point of failure at your company. And this is crucial. Listen, we all have this, and you probably feel guilty right now. I know that I have, because we know that we shouldn't build our companies like that, right? We know that we need to have processes in place. But listen, everybody goes through this. I've had this in all of my companies, and sometimes I've had a lot of different points of failure, right? And listen, especially when you're small, this is how it starts. You have to rely on certain people to do certain jobs that nobody else can do. But let me tell you, as you grow, that cannot be where your company stays. You have got to have a plan so that there's duplicity within your company, so that multiple people can do the same job, and that not one person within your company only holds the keys to success. You have to either do that or build processes that eliminate that single point of failure. And these are what builds an empire. These are what allows you to scale and to grow and to not have major setbacks. Because right now, I want you to go to your own whiteboard. I want you to role play what would happen if right now person X, and I don't like to say, a lot of people say, what happens if person X gets hit by a bus? I don't like to say that. But what I will say is, what happens if person X today wins the lottery tonight and doesn't come into work tomorrow? What happens to your company? And listen, this is real, because I was actually involved in a project one time where we had someone that had a serious health issue, end up having a stroke from, highly performing one day. The next morning, this person was not ever able to step into that position again. And so, listen, I have had to deal with this. I have suffered through scenarios where literally it's like, oh my gosh, we just lost this person and they were a single point of failure. And the company and everyone's livelihood is now on the line because I didn't deal with it early enough. And so when you go up to your whiteboard and you find out, hey, I have this single point of failure, I have another point of failure over here, I have another point of failure over here. What you don't want to do is write up on the whiteboard, erase it, and then go have a beer and forget about it, because you don't want to think about it. You need to immediately make that your priority number one. And right now, you're the only one that can do something about this, because your company is functioning with these single point of failures. And unless you take this as your responsibility to go and to begin to solve those problems so that one person does not hold the keys to your company's success. And like I said, you can do this a couple different ways. You can do this by putting in processes, right? So that it's not just a person, it's a process. You can do this with having two people learn the job so that it's not one person, it's two people, maybe even three people. You can do this so that you have departmental overlap. You know that there's lots of different ways that you can solve these problems. But listen, I'm telling you, do it today and don't wait for the person to win the lottery. Or in my scenario, there was a terrible situation where literally we never had that person again. And this goes to some simple stuff too. Like, even down to passwords, right? Even down to vendor contacts, all of these different things. You should never have one person that only knows one particular vendor. You should never have one person that holds all of the passcodes. You should never have just one engineer that develops everything. You should never have these single points of failures. You should never have one person that only knows your clients. All of these are single points of failures that if you lose that person, your company will suffer. And it's your responsibility to dig in, to make sure that you have that overlap, to make sure that you have those checks and balances, to make sure that you have that duplicity, to make sure that you have those processes so that you avoid these single points of failures that can topple a company overnight. Listen, I know it's a scary topic. I know you probably want to go back and watch another podcast. It's a happy topic. That's not one that's like such a burden. But I'm going to tell you from experience, you have these single points of failures in your company. I guarantee it. I guarantee you, if you're a small company and you're growing, listen, it's natural. Now, the mistake is to not deal with it. I'm Devon. This is Whiteboard Entrepreneur, and I really, really hope this helps. Take a quick moment and hit that subscribe button for more content.